Welcome to Software Leaders Uncensored with Steve Taplin.
You're listening to Software Leaders Uncensored. I'm your host, Steve Taplin, 25-year serial tech entrepreneur. My new book, Fail Hard, Win Big, comes out next month. It's my story of having 30 ventures with 20 failures and 10 wins. The common element of my successes was around custom software development. I am currently the CEO of Sonatify Technology, a premier nearshore software development company. And today we are joined by Sherry Wu out of Detroit, Michigan. Sherry has had an amazing career with big tech, deep roots, been multiple board of director roles, and now CTO at UMCU. Sherry, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me here.
You bet. So tell our listeners about the journey that's led you to your current position.
Yeah, sure. I grew up in China and always interested in technology. So I got my undergraduate, master in computer related, and I worked on multiple companies, and then I pursued the MBA. And fortunate enough, joined the University of Michigan, short for UMCU, 8 years ago as a chief technology officer. And this is my first financial industry job. Prior, I got the opportunity to be a board member for a little bit smaller credit union that gave me some footstep into credit union, and I love the credit union, love the financial industry. So that's why I'm, really enjoyed my journey so far with the company for 8 years.
Fantastic. Now, most CTOs don't stay that long in one place, especially in the current environment. What's kept you motivated and excited about your current role?
Yeah, sure. So, actually, when I was explored my next opportunity 8 years ago, that time the drawing me attention was I want to get in the financial industry, because I realized one thing great about financial industry is how important the technology play in the company, in the industry. So that was one reason I was target, the financial industry. So I was fortunate, got it up, joined the UMCU credit union. And what kept me here, it is the type of the project I'm working on, the business case I'm solving, helping other business unit. Not just keep the lights on, right? The typical ones, versus like how we really using technology to make we call members, our customer, more want to stay with us, and we gain market share, and more members join, and want to do business with us. So it's just never dull moment. And compared to some traditional companies I worked before, tend to view IT as a cost center. Here, I feel like I'm leading the way. So when that reason, I really enjoy the ecosystem. Not only my company, I work closely with the FinTech and other vendors, and the collaboration with other credit unions. So it is, I don't feel like I'm just working for one company. Instead, I'm a part of a bigger ecosystem.
Now, for those unfamiliar with University of Michigan Credit Union, what's its scale, its mission, what sets it apart in the credit union space?
Yeah, sure. So UMCU, we are the only for credit union headquartered in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So we're the people who most familiar with University of Michigan, right? So we are associated with that, but we're not part of the school. And so we have over 100,000 members and over $1 billion in assets. We do everything the big banks or credit union do, all their services, even though we're not that big. But we just actually last year we celebrate 70th year anniversary. So we have been long history, and we are continue growing. We have branches in multiple Detroit areas. We have about 14 branches now, and also beside branches, digital channels, online banking, mobile app, website, all the things. And we serve the need of University of Michigan, Eastern Michigan University, Washington Community College, and the nearby communities. So we are not just for students or faculties, but all the Lower Michigan, anybody can join us. and we'll welcome them to become our member.
So tell us how your team's using technology to better serve the students and the broader Michigan community.
Yes, so like we, realize how important the technology is, right? And so one thing I did was when I first joined, realized our online and mobile app is not up to bar to other bigger banks or credit union. So first thing I did was working with our vendors to uplift that. So was great. We got that, and then next thing about for credit union, we work close with the partners called the vendors, right? Because we may not able to, the team is small to develop ourselves, but by working with vendors, and there's some flexibility with the customization. So our mobile app will have our logos, our colors, some unique features, but majority maybe are matching with someone else. But with that, when we launched it, that was like the member feedback. I said, wow, they are just like the big bank, Bank America. There's no difference. So I heard those kind of feedback is really amazing. And then since then, we continue doing additional improvement on that channel to improve member services, right? To have technologies, and then to make the members, no matter which channel they go, whether they go to a branch or they access us online, they had a similar experience, right? It's the same thing. Or a contact center. So we also, recently we put like an AI chatbot on our website, and then we are working on the project to put into our phone system. So one thing to think about it, we are really known for customer service. So we are the one always can, member calls, it got to one of agent, right? That's the one thing great about it. But we only have so many customer, agent. So by putting the AI chatbot will help him answer some more easier questions, but then member can always press a 0 or something like that go to agent, answer those more complex questions. So that's one example of using newer technology, AI, to serve a member better, because the wait time, ideally is wait time reduced because easier question be answered by the chatbot. So that's a kind of example also for technology.
Now, you guys have some pretty cool sports partnerships. University of Michigan, the Detroit Lions debit card. What role did your team play from a technology perspective as part of those initiatives?
Yeah, great question. That thank you for bringing it up. That's a great uniqueness of us compared to some other credit union, right? We have those two great partnership with the University of Michigan sports. So we have exclusive debit card with big M, and then you bring your card out. Similar for Detroit Lions, we are the official credit union of Detroit Lions, and we have the exclusive right with the Lions card. So when Lions have the 3 colors of the new uniform, we got a new card. So we have 3 color matching with that design. So really cool, showing the pride people carry that. So what technology brings is, one is every time we have a new card, right, the design, we need to get approval from the Visa, from the school, or from the Lions. So that is IT work with our payment department, make that card, right, the design, and then print it out, test out. And one unique experience I talk about was last year when the first time we got the opportunity to at Ford Field, that's when Lion play, and to join one of their event, and then we ask Lions, can we instant issue a card at the field? So we got permission to doing so. So then we bring our print the machine to print the debit card, went to an office, and then when members, a prospective member join, say, I want to become a member, so they fill out the application on the iPad. That is a new technology we developed that. And then as soon as they become member, applied it, and then a debit card they wanted, it printed out in a few minutes. So then they got the card to use, and then we loaded some money because they were playing some game. The cash winning used to be give you cash, but now with Fairfield it says cashless. We cannot give the money, so it's how we do. So then instead we automatically load the money into the card. Now the member has a card with them and they go to buy food, things like that. So give that full experience, like, oh, you become a member, you got this exclusive, right? Get this card and you can have it right away. So that's, we were able to use the technology, build that site, kind of like a branch, right? With all the security built in and tested and able to deliver that. That was done by our team. Really proud of the team and did that really quick turnaround. Get that was a really great use case of technology.
So Sherry, tell us about your engineering team, the technologists you have on your team. How many people do you have? What is your setup?
Yeah, we are a smaller organization, so smaller team. And so totally, I actually have about only 14 or 15 team members. They are two different groups. One is a programmer team. You do all the development, right? Internal, we're working with vendors, partners. Another one is our network security team. So help desk.
And are you guys in office being a credit union? And is your team remote?
Yeah, we actually all in Michigan, local, and we mostly are remote. Besides help desk go in, but yeah, we were able to with the COVID, we were able to deliver just everything. We can work on from home, so pretty much remote.
Gotcha. Now, in a regulated industry like financial services, how do you create a culture of innovation when you have those parameters of the industry?
Yeah, good question. So yeah, so we always has a regulators come in every year, proving what we have done. So and we try to say what do we do meet the regulations or compliance department, but that we don't want that to become the burden of us, right? So understand what's all required, then with those parameters, that's what we can do to improve. So one example for membership app, we just talked about earlier, there is like all those, all the languages you need the member to know. Instead of put on the front, let them finish everything. And then you put in that there is a PDF open up, they can see it. So they still see it, or sending an email so they can see it really closely versus put in the front and then they discourage and then they stop working, right? So that's an example of, right, say how you always innovate. And then in our space, innovation is huge. Like, so by working with the FinTech I talked about earlier, they are super, super innovative and they bring the new things into space. And they also stay on top of meet the compliance requirement. So by partner with them, we don't feel they're threatening. They need us. We also need them. So by partnering with them, we bring the most innovative product to us and quicker, because it will take much longer to do, where we need a higher resource to do so. By partner with them, we're able to do that. So it's not only us. So we have a big extended team. We really rely on the third party vendors or fintechs to deliver what we need.
Now, talk to me about AI in financial services and how your team's using it today.
Yeah, so for the AI, mainly what we do is a partner with the vendors we mentioned earlier, that the AI chatbot, right? So that is developed, and we had a website and then put on in the phone and also going to put into our online mobile. That's one example. Another project we're working on right now is working with evaluating whether it be a platform or third party vendor to develop an internal knowledge base with AI. And then and also even our vendors are more moving to agentic AI from the generate AI, right? So that's the trend that we see, and I think a lot of use case will help with that. Like, a lot of process we're doing manually, that will be speed up the process. So there's a lot of use cases out there. We're evaluating what we can do, where we need a partner with somebody, third party to do so. So that's some examples of AI.
Gotcha. So from a technology perspective, are there a lot of differences between building systems for a credit union versus a traditional bank?
Yes. So I will say, there's multiple. One is us, right? So building internal if just we build something, then I would say that the comparison from the credit union and the bank are small. We all need that. So using application to become a account opening, right? That's the same. You need to meet all the requirements and it's easy to use, all the things. But then talk about working with the fintech, there will be a big difference, because fintech, if they only work with a bigger company like bigger banks, then they rely on the bigger banks to do a lot of customization, right? Say, oh, you have a 20-person team, you can do this piece, but us we cannot. So the expectation is different. So a lot of education, me and others working with the fintech for them to realize what we work better. So we cannot do too much customization. We need their help. So how fintech working with the credit union, it's different. So we educate them, so bring them up to speed where they can be better selling to us and partner with us. And it's being successful. I got some opportunity to be on the advisor board for some of the fintech and showing them what we need and how they can sell it to us, because even the language are different between credit union and banks, and the fintech need to learn that. So have some success with that. Advise the fintech how to be easier to sell partner with the credit union.
Gotcha. So Sherry, in my opinion, when you're a technology executive, the ultimate role is to be a CTO. Now, the tech industry is largely dominated by men, especially on the software engineering side. There's not the same representation from women. How have you overcome that to reach the level of success you've had?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, you talk about software development. I would say the network security side even more dominated by men. Software side have a little bit better situation. A lot of women are in the programming side. So that is always when I go to a conference, that's where I will see less than 10% are women. In my dream is like, okay, if one day if I get the conference, if there's a line to waiting at the bathroom line for women, that is success, right? Because using that example, I never had a situation. Always men's long line at conference, at tech conference, women 2 or 3 people. So
it's
so
usually a bunch of ugly men that look like me.
No, it's just a total opposite that you go to a football team game, right? So it's just so opposite of, but that's reality. So yes, so it's typically it's men. I think how I get here is one thing. Nowadays, the difference between the CTO compared to traditional or older previous time, it's not you just need to be super technical, you know how to do things. Instead, it's how you can look at the big picture, how you work with other executive. Because what we do, beside the small portion is, say infrastructure. Those are purely IT problems, right? Or initiative. Majority of our problems are helping business solving a problem, right? Whether you prove a member experience or bring the product to. So those skill set is a collaboration. I think, actually sometimes men lack of that compared to women. So we need to, say women take advantage of that. You're good at the collaboration, working with others, then have some definitely learning technology, and then open your mind and then willing to admit, I don't know, I'm learning, right? One man said is you don't have to know everything to be a CTO, right? You rely on, you hire right person, you trust them, and have the right dialogue, ask the right question. So when there's issues, you have a right person you can help you to answer. So sit there doesn't mean you have to know everything. That's one big miss, I would say. To say you never say, oh, I'm not ready, until you get to that space. It's yes, you be ready as you are, whatever you are, and take on the challenge. And that was me, like when I joined, it's like I never work on the financial industry, right? So even though I'm always in IT, but then take on the role at the CTO at the credit union. It's a big jump for me, leap, because when I first week or two talk about all the business things like, oh, the cash recycler, this, that, I'm like, some have no idea what they talk about, right?
Yeah, go Google what all those things mean.
Right. And then I said, why? What's this? So, they are, but then because those are specific to the banking, right? I haven't got the opportunity to do so. So actually biggest hurdle is like learning business, what they really do. And then you say, oh, I'm partnering with them, solving their problem. And then when you hear the things they talk about, they say, oh yeah, we can do that. They never know that, oh, IT can do that. Until you're talking to them, you realize, oh, you actually really, we actually sitting a really good base for the company, no matter which company. IT pretty much need to know every business, right, in order to serve. So IT, I think we wanted advantage that, okay, learning business, and then so we can support them.
So Sherry, what advice do you have for women aspiring to be in senior tech roles?
Yeah, first of all, we need to have more the role models, right? Like somebody like me or others. So I recently joined Same Detroit. So that's where all the tech leaders go. There's women there. And another organization I'm part of it. Same thing. We are promoting from even young kids, from middle school, high school girls to get in technology. And once they get there, start with programmer, right, or even help desk. That's the first start. Then you see the role model. You have a mentor, our woman, and then you see, oh, that's possible. And then, that is where I think just we need more women doing that and willing to speak up, say, yes, it's fine. It's not that difficult. If you don't, personally, I don't feel like, oh, I'm different than other CTOs. If you don't have that mindset, you say, oh, I'm the same. Then I think everything else is much easier.
Gotcha. So what's one brutal lesson you wish you would have learned earlier in your career?
Wow, brutal. So I will say, typically we all view like a CTO or CIO or nerdy, right? It's like a nerd, you're not good at talking to others, collaboration. So I think that's one thing, we are thinking nerdiness. And then what I think, so question was like what I could learn, brutal lessons learned as a CTO. Let me think about that one. So, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I don't have to know everything, right? But you get the right team members to help you. And then collaboration, and then know how to ask questions. You don't need to know the answer, but you need to know how to ask the question, digging deeper, sometimes digging, understanding the situation, and then have the team to tell you. So that is one thing we actually recently have something happened was like dependencies, knowing all the system, the dependencies about them, right? The team who doing it, maybe their day to day, they don't realize it, the dependency. So if one goes down, then whole thing goes down, right? So I would say the lesson is like as a leaders, have the people can, talk about surrounded by the smart people. They are technical. They know the detail, like whether security or network or the programming. You're surrounded by those people, and then give them space, encourage them to speak up when they do not agree with you. It's totally okay, right? I'm challenging. Everybody said, I don't understand this. Tell me, help me understand, and ask the right question. I think that is one, license I learned. Say, willing to admit and then ask questions.
Fantastic. Well, Sherry, thank you so much for getting uncensored with us today. You're a great example of women rising in tech in a male-dominated industry. Great advice out there. Any final shout-outs or advice for tech leaders you want to give before we wrap?
No, I think I always say dream big. Doesn't, if you're a programmer or, network analyst or, at the first line, think about what's your next step, right? Your manager, what's, manager after that, director. So think big, think there's possibilities. And then what that means, whether it's a training certificate or get a mentor, all those things, there's a possible. So there's a path you can do and, have the role model say, oh, that person is what I want to be in 5 or 10 years from now. And then what the step that person has taken, get to those advice, able to get the coffee chat with that person, maybe gain some ideas, like, have a vision what you want to be.
Thank you, Sherry. That's it for this episode of Software Leaders Uncensored. I'm Steve Taplin. Stay bold and keep building. Thank you.